Mr. Stasio.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm proud to be here on behalf of self-advocates and families today. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. The staffing crisis is not a matter of statistics. It is impacting real people, and real people are suffering because their needs are not being met. This is a problem in all settings, self-direction, certified, and also the Consumer-Directed Personal Care Assistance Program. So the problem is with both OPWDD and DOH services. Now I'm going to take a minute to tell you a little bit about my story. I have been without a Consumer-Directed Personal Care Assistant for 2 years, which means all the work falls on my self-directed staff, and they are only allowed to do certain things for me. They are not allowed to do the personal care that I need, the bathrooming help, so it's a real detriment, and I am currently, to be honest with you, due to the lack of staffing for me, been sleeping in my wheelchair for the past 2 years because I have no help in the morning whatsoever. And I work for OPWDD when I'm not SANYS president, so I have to get myself motivated and get ready to do my work for all the individuals that I serve in Western New York. And I know some stories of some people who are going through the same things, and they've been threatened with going back to the group home if they don't get the supports that they need, and it tears me up inside to hear that from them. Nobody should have to hear that from anybody. Our choices matter, so please remember that. Sure. It's just a matter of common sense. We all need the help, and yes, we are going through yet another pandemic of this staffing crisis. I don't think it's fair that we have 2 pandemics we have to suffer through, because for me, the pandemic of the staffing crisis is much worse than COVID because it affects my life and those of New Yorkers with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So I beg upon everyone in New York State, rise up and do something to help yourselves and help others, please. As I said, people are actually going without staff support at times, and they have real unmet needs that diminish their quality of life and sense of personal dignity. As far as personal dignity goes, it's very difficult for me, the self-advocate that I am, to ask a random stranger in my building for help with my bathroom needs when there's nobody there, but I have to do it to have that good life that OPWDD promises. People are seeing staff leave at an alarming rate. More and more they are being served by staff who they do not know, often with very intimate and personal details, because a record, when staff have to read it when they don't know the person, does not describe the person currently. Because if you have staff who are working with people and just starting, they don't have time to read the record. They have to get right in and take care of people. The needs which can place them at risk or harm can also be a humiliating experience, as I mentioned. In all settings, we are finding that we have less and less choice and control over the direction of our lives. Over the last 10 years, our lives have gotten worse when what we needed was innovation and improvements to make our lives more person-centered. The state is failing us, and it's a sad state of affairs. New York State, for me, is the best place to live, so let's all step up and do something, please. All of us.
BJ, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Everybody here is not surprised, and we appreciate your advocacy. A couple things about what you had mentioned. A couple quick questions, and 5 minutes for the chair and the ranker. Can you tell me either your own personal experience or what you know about individuals who are in OPWDD self-direction, and how do they go about finding that qualified staff?
Well, to be honest, for me, the agency which serves me is an awesome agency, but their road to give me services is you find the people and we'll hire them, but it takes so long to onboard them, it's almost ridiculous. I've had to go up to people in grocery stores, hey, you look like you need a job, want to come work for me?
Something. You talked about, we all agree, you should, listen, we love you. You're a great recruiter, but you're not supposed to have to do those things. We all agree that. So you mentioned choice and control. What flexibility is out there in the guidelines that OPWDD provides, or alternatively, what restrictions are there to provide people with competitive living wages? I hope I was clear on the question.
Yeah, to be honest, not much when you have to wait for services. What OPWDD really needs to focus on, and I'm glad the commissioner is here and we had an opportunity to talk before, is to get more people engaged in their advocacy lives and make the documents that people are forced to understand in an easy read document so everybody can understand it, because questions delay the services we need. And if we can avoid the minutia of the questions, people will get the services that they need.
Thank you. Last one for me. You mentioned innovation and improvement, and we've known each other a little while here, and I've heard those words from you. So, in your own words also, what are those innovations and improvements that, in the short time we have here, you could put out there that might be obvious to you?
Well, to be honest, I wish OPWDD would focus more on being person-centered instead of just talking about it. I've been waiting for person-centered services to really happen for so long. Just having a person at a meeting about themselves is not truly being person-centered. So get it together, OPW, please.
Thank you, BJ. Senator Martucci.
Thanks, Senator Mannion. So, BJ, my first time meeting you in person, and you are even more dynamic in person than on Zoom. And I would tell you that comes as no surprise, but great to see you in person.
Thank you.
I want to continue along the lines where Senator Mannion was going and use my time to ask you a couple of questions. What else? What else from your perspective, when you talk about innovation, is important?
Help people understand their rights, because if you understand your rights, you can make the educated choice that you need to make for yourself. We need to have a larger discussion about rights. Rights is not a regulation. Rights is guaranteed by all of us as human beings and United States citizens.
Absolutely. BJ, I want to say thank you, and I look forward to continued discussions with you. Thank you for the great work that you do. You do amazing work on behalf of so many folks, and you should be very proud.
Thank you so much.
BJ, pleasure to meet you, and thank you for speaking with such a strong and loud voice, and I hope OPWDD heard you. Question, you are both in the CDPAP program, correct?
Yes.
So when you're looking for someone to take on this role of provider, what is the pay that can be offered to them?
Well, in Western New York, where I'm from, it's a sad $12.90 an hour, and my life is more than $12.90 an hour, and so is everybody else's. Even the 15 that I know are in Long Island, they should be getting more than that, because personal care affects my life, and it's a lot for somebody to do. So please raise those wages and make the staff feel valued and make us feel valued as well.
And during this time when you're not able to find someone for that pay to do this very difficult and personal work, you've relied on your neighbors in your building and put off things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Does OPWDD have a response when you can't find someone to do this job?
Not really, honestly, because the CDPAP program is not covered by OPWDD. It's covered by Department of Health.
Does the Department of Health have any response to
No.
you? You're basically out there without the services to which you are entitled.
Well, the usual response is, we'll renew your services, but when you find people, tell us, and that's ridiculous, because how am I going to sit there and say, come to work for me, only get $12.90 an hour? I would never do that to anybody, because human beings have a lot more value to me than $12.90 an hour.
Agreed. Thank you very much.
Let's see what happens this time.
Senator Serino?
BJ, it's so nice to meet you today, and oh my God, your testimony is so, like, I'm sure everybody here can feel your passion, and I can't even imagine sleeping in a wheelchair for 2 years, even for a couple days, and not having the care that you need and that you deserve. So I'm so glad that we're doing this hearing, and that things have to come out of this, so that you have the help that you need, that we're able to pay the providers more money, like you said. It's so important, and I just can't thank you enough for being such an advocate for so many people.
But I must say, this is not about me, it's about everybody with IDD and intellectual disabilities, because the minute I make it all about me and my needs, that is selfish of me, and I refuse to do that ever.
And I don't think anybody's taking it like that, BJ. I think...
But I just have to say that.
No. That just says so much about you. But I think you're putting a face on what people are dealing with right now.
Yes,
And
he
that's
is.
so important for the public to hear and for us to hear, because things have to change. They cannot continue status quo. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
BJ, that work?
I don't think so.
No.
No. Question?
You got it.
Okay. First, this is about you. It's about every you in the state of New York.
Yep.
Let me ask you a question. How many times are you asked what you need?
How many times have I asked what I need? Very few, because my focus is about everybody else, and always going to be that way, because if I help everybody else, it then helps me, because if they get the help they need, maybe that person will want to work for me. So my first goal is to get somebody else's needs taken care of, then I focus on me, but I don't like when I'm asked what are my needs, because I don't want to be looked upon as forgetting about those who are voiceless, who are learning to be self-advocates.
I don't mean that question to be self-centered.
No,
you,
I know.
You know what you're capable of doing, and you know where you need assistance.
Yes.
How many times are you asked that question?
Well, by DOH, quite a bit, because I have to prove to them I have a disability every 6 months, and my disability is lifelong, and it's not going to change. I hate to tell them that, but it's never going to change.
So time is spent asking you the question that after it was asked the 25th time is still the same.
Yes, still the same, and as I get older, it gets worse. But, that happens to all of us as we get older. But I need the help now, and so do other people around New York State.
I don't question the fact that other people in New York State need help. You do a pretty good job expressing your needs and yourself and your opinion. And my question is, rather than asking you a question that's not going to change, there should be some kind of discussion of what progress you're making or what deterioration you're having So we alter what we're doing to give you better assistance. So my real question in terms of asking you what you need is whether or not we have a discussion with you, not talking about you, but you to see what is happening, what direction you might be moving in certain things, if things are getting more challenging or less challenging in certain areas, so that we're adjusting the program for you and perhaps making the people that are working for you more effective.
I totally agree with you because you know what that is? Truly being person-centered across systems.
Right. So I take from that there isn't a discussion.
No,
with you.
never a discussion. It's just about what I need at the moment, and that's it. And what I need from day to day changes because my needs change, and I'm well aware of that.
Well, I would just tell you to continue to speak out. We're certainly going to listen. And we've got to recognize that you are all individuals. It's not a cookie cutter situation.
Thank
And
you
we
very
have
much
to
for
take
the
the time.
acknowledgement of that.
We have to take the time to recognize everybody's an individual and evaluate where you are and make adjustments. So I thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Mr. Stasio, we all thank you for being here today, and of course, your continued passionate advocacy for others is clear. And it's great to see you. I appreciate the fact that we've come to know each other, and hopefully we're going to see each other pretty soon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
trust
PJ.
me, we will.
I know. Thank you again. Our next witness is Tom McElvana, President of New York Disabilities Advocates and Council of Developmental Disabilities. And next is Randy D'Antonio.
It is, yeah.